Hey, Dave, you hearing me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you and I see your hand.
Okay. Oh, brother.
Basically,
And we picked up one more person, so who knows? In the meantime, you might pick up Coach.
Okay. I don't know if you saw the intro, but joining us here, Dave, the Mountain Empire Redhawks, Rod Gonzalez, senior. We got Danny Obed. He's a senior as well. And also joining us, Lukas Spencer, senior. Danny's down at the bottom with you. Lukas is up at the top to my left on the screen, and Rod in his hoodie to the right. Dave, sorry about these technical difficulties. You'd think it's the distance between here and Pine Valley, but it's all on my end. But we're recording now, and I want to just thank the Redhawks for coming on, Dave. We're looking to get rolling with this season. They've already had a little bit of success. They had some notable success at the Elk Cone Passing Tournament, and despite losing some players from last season, they've got some returning seniors. We've got 3 of them on the screen with us.
Yeah, and a lot of those games last year, not necessarily big blowouts. I mean, we were in a lot of those games, and I think it was I think that was more of the frustrating part of it with last season. Not to mention we didn't have as many games as we would have liked to have had. So I would say, Rod, did you kind of think the same thing? I mean, we didn't have as many games, but we were in a few of them. But the most frustrating point of it was we were so close, yet we didn't get it done.
yeah, I was at lots of the games we were off, but that's frustrating. Yeah.
And Rod, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the big difference maker, or maybe a couple of players that are going to be a difference on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, or is it just going to be more experience that we're looking at this season that will give us the big more of a boost into hitting a couple more W's this year?
At the line, and they look in our passing game. And lots of people who had experience last year, lots of players learn new things in there.
And Lukas, he was a little choppy. What do we have to say about the backfield? How's the backfield going to be looking as far as the running game and trying to balance out that offensive attack?
I think it'll be pretty good. I think our running backs should be pretty good this year, and as long as our offensive line can help get the blocks in, then I feel like both passing and running should work good for our offense.
Yeah, Coach Vann and I were talking about it last year. It was kind of a starting from scratch all over again. He had those kids all 4 years, and he had to start all over. It took him 4 years to get that championship, but as he went through the seasons, finally, he
go ahead, Dave.
he got it done. And they ended up playing the CIF. And is that something that you foresee as a possibility this year with what you got on both sides of the ball? Maybe even special teams. We tend to overlook that quite often.
I feel like if everyone puts in their very best and tries their hardest, I feel like we do have a chance to get where we would like to be with winning CIF.
And especially if we're going to be playing. I know for many years the H word is what you like to refer to it as, and that's your arch nemesis that you guys love playing against every year. And I'm sure you want to be on the winning side of that one in particular.
Most definitely.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Dave. Let's make no mistake. Despite losing last year's game to Holtville, I'm pretty sure that the Redhawks have won 4 out of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. So certainly these guys know that. Also joining us just now, Greg Reyes, another senior, joining us to talk about the running game. I don't know. I think Greg might be carrying the ball a few times. We'll ask him right now. And also, I want to check in with Danny Obed. Danny, did we got you on audio at all? Open? No, I still don't have Danny. Greg, you going to be carrying the ball this year? Oh, do I not have Greg's audio? Man. All right.
Hey, Greg, can you hear me, Greg?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you, Greg. Let me.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Well, I know I can hear Rod and I can hear Lukas. I can hear the best. Rod's a little bit choppy. I think if he keeps his volume up a little bit when he's speaking, and I can hear Greg great. I just wonder if he can hear us.
Yeah, we can hear Greg, but we can't. He's not hearing us necessarily. So we'll continue the conversation. We'll go back up to Rod. Rod does it all. I mean, we know that.
I just can't hear.
Greg, what did he say? Hey, Rod, you do it all for this club. You can carry the ball. You're a receiver. I mean, you're all over the place. You're a return man. You had 2 picks during the short season in spring, 22 tackles. All these games, Rod, the thing about Mountain Empire is when these other teams were taking care of business against us, let's face it, we went 0-6 last year, but we played as competitive as we can play, keeping mistakes to a minimum and staying in those games. And only when the teams kind of imposed their depth on us and maybe some size and speed, were they able to kind of put us away in those second halves. I'm talking about the more lopsided games, but you look at the close games, Rod. I know you guys are looking forward against Maranatha. I mean, you remember that game, 12-6, the first overtime game in Mountain Empire history. And I thought that even though we had lost that game, Rod, it kind of set the tone. I thought that was going to, and I think it did give you guys some energy because those first games we played very, very tough.
After that game, lots of us, of course, weren't happy with the loss. So, it pushed lots of us to try to get better. And during it, but yeah, loss from most of us here.
And what did you think about that game, Lukas? Did you feel that?
Yeah, I think we caught most of that. Lukas. Then I think of a game last year. Another game. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was going to ask Lukas if did you have the same opinion? I mean, that kind of felt like it could have turned around your season at that point.
What point?
After the overtime.
Yeah, I feel like we could have brought it.
He's talking about the spring game, maybe the opener, the 12-6 loss in overtime
against Maranatha.
Yeah,
I feel like we could have won it, but I feel like once we started losing it, we just got on ourselves and just couldn't bring it back. But I think we just got to keep our heads up, and we'd be able to take the game instead of choking it like that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say you choked it. I mean, that was a thrilling game.
Well,
I mean, it was a great game.
It was.
I thought another great game, Lukas, was the game against Vincent Memorial. I mean, look at how great that team ended up being. I mean, it's kind of a historical team. The Scots always a great team. But again, with their great coach, and they made big noise last year, and we basically lost to them by 2 touchdowns. I think it was 1 touchdown in each half. So I thought that was another great performance last year against Vincent, and we're going to get a chance to play them again. Of course, in a league game, in the Manzanita League. We want to ask Coach Vann about that, but Lukas, Vincent Memorial game. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Speaking of, I don't want to interject, but speaking of Coach Vann, he was wondering if we could get him in. I don't think we have that capability with what we're working with right now, but he was asking if he could just call in some audio, but I don't think we have it set up for that, and that's why I think I've explained that to him before, but I guess we're gonna have to.
We were hearing his audio just fine on that. That's too bad. We were hearing his audio just great. We just didn't have any video.
Yeah.
So
I think if and it'll be my bad if we run into some snags, but I think we need to just continue with who we got here. Give the and if we have to, we'll get some more info from Coach Vann, maybe even after the show, and maybe we can figure something out from there. But in the meantime, we got the Redhawks right here. We got the guys that are going to be making the plays on the field anyhow. So, he's speaking of Coach. What do you have to say about that too, Lukas? Working under Coach Vann and his playing style, and he's definitely a winning coach, and he's proved to be a winning coach. He's worked with great teams too in the past, not only with Mountain Empire, but as you mentioned before, with Helix. So he's definitely a winner.
I really like working with Coach Vann. I feel like the way he sets up his plays works for the players, and he likes to make everybody useful on the team, not just find a place for them and call it their home. He'll give people multiple spots if they can play it.
So I guess basically what you're saying, Lukas, is he's not going to leave any moving parts untouched. He's going to make sure that everybody on the whole roster is going to be able to take part in, and that his belief is that everybody holds a special assignment or an assignment on the field when you're on the field, and nobody should be left out of any of the plays that he sets up.
Yeah, everybody that's in the play has a purpose. There's nobody on the field that doesn't have an objective to do during the play.
Well, let's hold our roll on all the praise for Coach Vann, because he's joining us now. Finally, Dave, we got Coach Vann, head coach and athletic director. I don't know whether to congratulate him or wish him good luck. I guess both. Coach Vann is at a leadership conference tonight, of course, in the middle of the first official week of practice. Coach Vann, thanks for getting these guys together. I apologize for any technical difficulties, but we do want to get you on and wish you great luck. We've already kind of talked about the Maranatha game, the Vincent Memorial game, 2 great games last year that really showed, really what the team had despite what went on the rest of the season. We're in every game. It's just that by the end of the game, we're a little bit overwhelmed by the other team's, depth and other things. But if it comes to fighting for the win, we're right there. Coach Vann, you with us? Oh. How about, hey, Greg, you look great up there. How about, did we get you with a microphone now?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
that is good. That is good stuff.
I was going to throw in some sign language up there or something pretty soon.
No.
I was going to start reciting.
No. We've been waiting to get to Greg. He's on the defense, of course. We know his defense, and I was wondering if he was going to carry the ball this season for the team. Greg.
I don't know about carrying the ball. I know we have Larry Clark at running back, and I know he's going to be an absolute unit on the field. So I think Larry will do some real good,
Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I had technical difficulties, and I don't know if you saw it, but in our intro, Larry's in the intro of the show. Rod, does that surprise you? Larry's in the intro to the East County preview show because, I mean, if we throw the Redhawks in with the rest of the teams, and I think you'd agree that, we're talking praise to you guys, but Larry's one of the best players in the county this year. Rod?
Yeah, totally deserves it. Player last year for us, he was a great. This year we worked some touchdowns and stuff a lot because last year was his first year playing back.
Dave, we did catch some of that.
Yeah, I was going to ask Greg. Greg, didn't he broke the a record last year too? Didn't he? All time wasn't it tackles? Sacks. That's right. Yeah. So he's cooking on defense. I mean,
we got 4
I'm sure
sacks.
He loves carrying the rock, but I think that he's a defensive beast too. I think he puts the I guess we could put it that way, the fear of God in people when he's on the other side of the line.
Yeah, no doubt. I think he just loves hitting, man. He really does. He loves the physical.
Yeah, Lukas. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that he loves the contact.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
He's
no doubt about it. Lukas, you're a sack master too. I imagine that you guys help each other drawing attention because you've had some big games last year with your sacks as well. So what kind of threat do you pose with Larry when it comes to getting the quarterback? He had 4 sacks in that game against La Jolla Country Day, a pretty great program.
I think me and Larry will be competing for a lot of sacks this year and also trying to break the record again. But I think Chaz Ennis is also going to be competing for that too on the other end.
That's what I like to hear, Lukas. We know Chaz got to the quarterback last year as well. Danny, how's your mic sounding down there? Can we hear from you?
Yeah, I can hear you guys a little bit.
Oh, yes. Now we're on a roll. We can start talking also a little bit about this offense. I think Danny's probably in line for some targets this year. Danny, are you running routes? I know we lost a lot of talent in that department.
Maybe a couple. Still trying to get down the playbook and everything, but hopefully.
What kind of role do you see yourself fulfilling?
Well, usually we don't got big depth. We got a lot of injuries, so if someone gets injured, I'll be ready.
Coach Bernard Vann with us still. Let's try one more time to see if we can get him, Dave, to hear us.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, great. Coach Vann, you fighting through some injuries right now? First week in? First official week?
Yeah, we're a little banged up there. We were taking this week off to let guys kind of rest up and get ready to go for next week for that kickoff classic.
You know, Coach, you guys have been fortunate. You've been in the SDFNL Classic. You've been an invitee quite often. Has it been 3 or 4 years straight?
I want to say maybe. I want to say maybe, might be right. It might be 4 years.
I think so. I mean, and that's quite an honor for Montel to invite you guys out there. so often, and give everybody a chance to see you guys, sometimes. And that's why I've always thought it's great to keep you guys in the as part of our Grossmont conference per se. I know you guys are in a different league, but kind of keep you aligned with the rest of the East County. I mean, you're further east anyway, so I
Right.
mean, you might as well get some recognition. And
Courtesy, right?
Well, and I'll ask Coach point blank right now that he's the athletic director at Mountain Empire, if you can hear me, Coach Vann, of course, in the Manzanita League, and you've been coach now, I believe, 7 years. But
Yes.
is there a talk? Is there any discussion about you leaving the Manzanita League soon for a league that would have you facing teams further west more frequently?
Yeah, that's our plan right now. Our plan is to be in another league next season, and we're talking with the specific league over in the coastal with Maranatha, Army Navy, Escondido Charter, and Foothill Christian. That's where we're trying to get to.
Yeah, it
That
sounds
would
like
be
a pretty
fantastic.
good. Yeah, sounds like a pretty good league. There's nothing wrong with the opponents you're facing now. I mean, you enjoy all those rivalries, and
Yes,
probably could still resume several of them as non-league games because
definitely.
those rivalries are so attractive. But what would you accomplish uh, by playing by playing teams? Is it a matter of just easier logistics and finding more frequent regular opponents that allow for good travel and all that?
That's exactly right. It's all about the travel. We go out that way further east, and that's a long drive, and we get back to the school usually when we have away games at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So, and on those drives, we're through the mountains. There's nothing there, right? So I always figured if we got to take long drives, I would rather drive through San Diego where there's stuff there.
Plus, wouldn't that be how long? I mean, it's been has Mountain Empire ever? Ramon, you would know because you've been doing it a lot longer than I have. Has Mountain Empire ever moved west, or were they playing west prior to, let's just say, 25 years ago or so, or even further back than that? Were they playing a little closer to the Grossmont Conference opponents at any time?
What I do know, I've talked to some people that have been around there quite a while, and they've told me and explained to me that they were in league with Army Navy at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's something that has happened before, and being out there by the desert, we got in that league. I don't know exactly how that happened, but I definitely would rather be in the league, heading out there to San Diego, especially those teams up there. I'm comfortable up there because, as you know, I coached at Bishops and Country Day at a time. I like it up that way.
Yeah, and they'll make a few trips, Dave. Of course, Maranatha is going to be a road game this time around, following the first overtime game in school history was the opener last year. Then I believe they have the Redhawks have 2 weeks off, but then take that trip. One they're kind of familiar with as far as the traveling west, but a very far trip, about as far west as they can go at Mission Bay. But home for Crawford, home for Hoover, at Vincent Memorial in the first league game, said 14-0 last year, a close ball game against the powerful Scots. Then they host Tri-City Christian in a non-league, and then Calipatria at Holtville, and then at home against Palo Verde Valley. So I think a conquerable schedule, and I think we're not necessarily, like I said, throwing out last year, because I think in the games, other than a couple of those games that got out of hand late, the effort was fine with this team, Dave. And like I said, we lost some pieces, but we got plenty of experience. We kind of haven't even talked about that passing game yet. we want to know about it and how it's developing. But there were some positive results, Dave, that came out of the El Cajon passing event, if I'm not mistaken. Many people talked up the Redhawks' performance at El Cajon Valley High just a few weeks back.
Yeah, that was a great game. I think, and Coach, I hope you would agree. I think that that would be one of the opponents for non-league that might be interesting to look into of playing El Cajon Valley maybe in your non-league schedule every year. I know that you played Santana a couple of times as of recent,
Right.
and to me personally, I think it'd be more of a competitive and a game that I think we would get either whether it's at El Cajon Valley or it's at your place. I think you'd get a better attendance as well for that non-league game because I think it would bring so much competitiveness and because this last one you had here, it was fantastic.
Oh, the playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last playoff
Yeah.
game. Yeah, we had a lot of people out. A lot of fans came from school to see that game, and we played hard, but we were missing our quarterback for that game, and offensively it showed.
How many of you guys played? You guys are all seniors, but I don't know. That was actually 2009. Like we say way back in 2019, but I mean, the spring season was only 6 games. I mean, so you look back, it was really the back in 2019 that we had that game. Rod, did you play in that game?
Yes, I did.
What do you remember about that game with the Braves? It was a good game.
I don't remember much since it was long ago. I remember lots of us, like, we just kept playing till the end and all, even though, like, we didn't win and all. Even though we're missing a quarterback, lots of us still
I mean, to me personally, I think that both teams, and you would probably agree, Rod, it looked like both teams were really competing till the end. I mean, yeah, you guys both look pretty winded at the end of that one, but it's like you that's what I mean. If you guys could play each other every year, you're pretty similar teams as far as number wise also, and having to go both ways. I think that it just would be a good thing for both schools, both programs, and you both played hard. Coach Vann's one of the better coaches and out there, and so is Coach Nick Osborne has really brought some light to El Cajon Valley for the Braves too. So I think it would be a win-win. Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Vann.
No, you're right. I know Coach Osborne pretty well now. We do that 7-on-7 together every year in a couple of years now. We missed last season, and yes, you're right. That will be good. Us playing them out of conference. That's something we'll definitely look at when we get in this new league.
Well, what was everybody talking about, Coach, with the great performance there? Maybe you can fill us in on our passing. We want to know about the passing game a little bit.
Okay. So we went out for the tournament. It was 7 teams there. We started out the day 0-2, and but both games we lost were like really close, and I think we were kind of tight. We were playing kind of tight. That's what it was. After that second game, we had a little talk. We talked about loosening up, and we need to play like we play, and we need to do what we do. That's our saying around there. We do what we do. So the next 6 games we won, and we won the tournament.
How about that? Why don't you talk about your quarterback? You had him in there as a freshman in that spring season, completing 50% of his passes, though, and 650 yards of offense. You can talk about him. You could talk about him.
I try not to, right?
Well, Corey, I think it just kind of the way it worked out with playing him in that spring season, getting the feet wet, no matter what happened with that record, that's invaluable experience.
Yes, I agree. He grew during the season. I think he made mistakes. He had some picks, but as you said, he did complete about 50% of his passes, and he did throw for 600 something yards. He really worked hard for that. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, for the 2 months before we started again.
Right.
He was hard. He goes to a quarterback coach and everything. He was working hard. We came back for summer, and we played a lot of 7-on-7 games this summer, right? In July. We didn't lose a lot. We didn't lose a lot at all in those games. He's really grown into the position. He makes all the reads, and I think he's going to be able to do things for us this year.
Danny,
Dave, maybe we can go one more time around the horn too, and get a few more teammates, one or two guys, to put on your thinking cap, guys, and think about who you've seen. I mean, I don't want to belittle the point there's not as many guys, so you guys better come up with one or two more names for me on this team. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to ask Danny first. I think would you agree that you guys have a little bit of an edge over many of these teams, that especially the teams, coastal teams, or anybody really? I mean, you guys are playing in triple degree temperatures on a regular basis, and after the passing league and playing in July, I mean, that's some pretty good conditioning for getting ready for even warmer weather than that. And it's something that you guys have done for a while now. If you want to comment on that, and then also any players along with yourself that you think maybe even the younger players that stood out to you so far, maybe that played in that tournament that had an opportunity and could end up being some special playmakers this season.
Yeah, with the practicing in the heat and everything, that would sure give us an advantage. We've been having some 100-degree plus practices these past couple weeks. And then another player, Hunter Morgan, he's a middle linebacker for us.
Oh, yeah.
He's a junior this year. Once he's all healed up and healthy, he could be a pretty big playmaker for us.
Couple dozen tackles, Dave, for Hunter in the spring season. So, Greg, you got a guy or two for me?
I think Gonzalez is a good slot and a really good safety. I think he's a real good playmaker. I think he's going to be one of the future weapons.
Lukas?
I'm gonna get to Lukas, because I think Lukas has had a hard day today. I think he's been up probably since 5 a.m. and looked like he's had enough of the heat.
Last thing he wants to do is talk to us, Dave. No.
So what do you think, Lukas? Anybody that stands out that's a junior or maybe even some of the younger players that stood out to you that you think are going to be playmakers this season?
I would say Hunter, if he heals up, he would be a big playmaker for us. And Mannix he can improve a lot, I think, and he would be a big playmaker for us too.
Rod, why don't you comment on Mannix?
Oh, okay. Mannix, he was a great impact on 7-on-7. He's our slot receiver. Like, he improved tremendously from being a freshman starting last year. And now he's playing also safety for us, and he got a lot better at his reads and everything. He performed a lot better. He can make more plays and stuff. And yeah, like, he's gonna be a great weapon for us this year.
Dave, Rod's mic sounds great now too. I wish we could start this whole show over. We only got a few minutes more with these guys, but we're really rolling now. Coach, anybody who else? These guys certainly left off a guy or two. You can tell us about that who we're going to be watching.
I got a couple of guys, and I wanted to say something I didn't get to say earlier about the team, but a couple of guys I think you can watch out for. Wyatt Morgan, he will be a sophomore this year. He's a backup receiver, so he'll be playing outside. He's not necessarily a starter, but he'll get a lot of reps. Also, another guy outside that's did pretty good this summer, Giovanni Beasley, another outside guy. He'll be a sophomore. So with that being said, like you guys were saying, that little shortened season, it was 0-6, but that was it was kind of like a dress rehearsal for us because we had so many freshmen playing. And you're right. You made a comment earlier about how they played and didn't give up in games, and that was the most impressive thing to me during that time. They didn't give up in games. They didn't roll over. The only game we really got beat down was, the team I don't want to say, but they got us pretty good. But everybody else, it was a game. In the fourth quarter, it was still a game. So I think that says a lot for those guys. I mean, those are freshmen. It was 4 freshmen starting on varsity on off, and they just kept playing. That was, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was special, and I think that's going to bode well for us this season.
Yeah, Dave. They were thrown into the fire, if you will, right away with playing those young players.
And also, you were right. We lose Marcus, and that's a big loss. I know it is. That's a really big loss. But what we found out this summer was we may don't exactly have that guy that's that explosive, but what we do have is 4 or 5 guys that are pretty darn good. So I think that makes us even more dangerous now.
No, Coach, I think in reality, if they were watching, I'm sure they were watching him pretty closely. Marcus made most of those plays and had such a great pair of hands, and he was making all those plays and had a majority of the receiving yards. And you can tell just because I talked to him on several occasions, and really had a great attitude. Really took the game seriously.
Yes.
I think he probably would have been and some things that he's been through, a great mentor because of the things that he's been through. And I'm sure that he left a pretty good reflection on these guys, and I'm sure taught each and every one of them that are going to play on offense something.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Yes. They were there and they saw plays he made, and these guys want to be able to make those same plays for us now.
But yeah, he was a real pleasure though. I'm not saying I'm playing favorites, but a great kid to talk to, and I talk to him quite often, and just knowing the whole story and everything, I just think it's brilliant what people can, any of these kids up here that are on the screen can do too. Even at the level you guys are at, you guys can do huge things.
Yes. Yep. He came a long way. You're right, Dave.
Well, we'll wrap it up with these guys. Maybe just one or two quick questions with a few of the guys. So let me just start. Dan, I'll get Danny in here again because he keeps coming in and out. I want to get him one more question, Danny. What kind of motivation could a team possibly have coming off a winless season, quite honestly? And how does that motivate you guys when you're doing those workouts in these conditions? You know what? Ignore I just said that. We're going to go. Lukas, did you hear that question I was trying to ask Danny?
No, I didn't get it.
Here he comes.
I was going to throw it at Greg, actually, because he looks like he'd have something to say.
Okay. So I think the fact that we went 0-6 is that is our motivation, I think we have to show we have like redemption, we have to show that we are better than that and that we have to come back stronger, And so I think we use that as our motivation,
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and if you guys do the scoreboard watching, you look at the record, those are the types of things that can bring you down if you just focus on the fundamentals of football, as I'm sure Coach Vann has said, and just really, we were talking to Coach Dan Mitchell from Christian, and he made a really good point that he got from Bill Belichick, and just eliminating the mistakes, not going off sides and, no false starts, just those little things that we do that we just don't think about it. But next thing you know, that's what lost you the game, is so much laundry on the field. So something to keep in mind too, a little nugget that I think that could really go far too, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
All right, Dave, we won't press our luck too much. I think we got some great info out of these guys and some more names as well. We want to thank all of our guests for joining us, especially Coach and Athletic Director Bernard Vann.
Yes.
Maybe we're going to get to see more of the Redhawks next season, coming maybe west a little more. Kind of wanted to press him on that, but we want to talk to the kids, of course, here tonight. All seniors were joining us. Rod Gonzalez, Greg Reyes, Lukas Spencer, Danny Obed was with us as well. So thanks to all those guys for joining us, and shout out to those guys who we're looking forward to that we mentioned, especially Larry coming
Clark.
off that huge year with the 8 sacks, 71 tackles, 20 of them for loss, leading that defense kind of with Lukas. So good luck to you guys, and good luck to Coach. We're going to be reading about the Redhawks, Coach Vann, and EastCountySports.com, and make sure we get our link so that we can watch the games, the home games anyway.
All right. That sounds good. Thank you, guys. Always a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it. Thanks for hanging in there, Lukas.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great job, you guys. Apologies. You guys saved
Thank
the show. You saved the show, no doubt about it.
That was our fault. We were with the bad Wi-Fi.
No. I think we came through at the end. We're just going to chop off the first 10 minutes. Good job,
There
you
you go.
guys.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Laser.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
All right. Have a good night.
Night, Lukas.